Once you're pretty much debt-free or safe, it grows tax deferred in an environment that you can take it out tax-free, and that is what we call your own personal bank. A personal bank is a specialized, designed whole life policy where most of the money you put into the policy for premiums goes into cash value. If you look at other places where you can maybe put your money safely under your mattress where you get no interest in your bank checking accounts, you get no interest. Even in your bank savings accounts, you get 0.2% interest. As you move up the chain, um, the Schwab money market account right now is paying 2%, but that's taxable just like your savings account was, or short-term treasury bills, which are also taxable at 2.4%. The best product to put your money in safely where you have access to it in complete control is really your own personal bank, where you can receive 4 to 5% tax-free and guaranteed 4%. And we have to do something that beats inflation, which is 2.8%. Just to help you understand how banks work, real banks, they will lend you money at 4% to 8%. Uh, when they lend you $100,000, all they need in the bank is $10,000, and they're really getting 1,000% return on their money. Their number one tier asset, by the way, is whole life insurance policies that they have under executives. And this whole life type of policy is what we're going to talk about so that you have it on yourself and create your own bank. You do not get any interest on the money you have in your checking account and very little in your savings account in your own bank. If you need to borrow money when during hard times or recessions, it's probably very difficult to get a loan. And that's why you want to have your own bank that you can just take it out anytime you need. So the answer is really creating your own personal bank. And what Walt Disney and J.C. Penney and Ray Kroc of McDonald's, they all had the same thing in common. They all had whole life policies. Walt Disney used his whole life cash value to start Disneyland. J.C. Penney helped J.C. Penney make it through the Depression with the money he had in his whole life policy. And Ray Kroc used his money in his whole life to actually buy the rights to McDonald's from the McDonald brothers. So who has a whole life policy here? The advantages of your own personal bank, which I call high cash value whole life insurance, which means there's a lot of cash in there that you have access to. It's guaranteed, it's predictable growth, consistent, and can be used for retirement income. There's safety with no volatility. It's a guaranteed, like I said, 4%. It's flexible. I mean, don't have to keep on paying for it. You can pay it for 5 years and premiums and then stop, but you'll have this permanent life insurance policy. You have a bulk of money, you could put it in for 1 or 2 years and stop paying on it. Peace of mind and not worrying about what's happening in the market. Tax benefits, like I said, the money that's in the policy, this whole cash value grows at 4 to 5, maybe 6%. Tax deferred, and you can access the money tax free. You are complete control of with easy access to the cash in this policy. You never need to borrow from a bank again. There's no investment fees that you do when you're playing with the 401ks that compound against you. There's tax-free income for retirement, protection and security of your family because there is a large death benefit associated with this. And then if something happens to you, you have income tax-free legacy for your family. So certain criteria, very few insurance people sell this product because the way it's designed, they don't make much commission on it. So you need to work with the right life insurance agent who understands this concept, which is called infinite banking concept. These agents should have access to the top four mutually owned insurance companies, which are the best, such as Mass Mutual or Guardian, New York Life, or Northwest Mutual. These companies have paid dividends and been around for over 160 years. The policy design, and this is very important, that no more than 10% goes to really pay death benefit premium, and 90% just goes right into cash with a small term rider so that you can meet the IRS non-MEC requirements, which is also another criteria. The policy premiums used is to hold and build cash in a guaranteed tax return safe environment. It's like a big savings account. And then you can use it for future investment or and also has, of course, a death benefit as a secondary, which if you have a 401k, there is no death benefit associated with your 401k. So sort of like the important with whole life policy versus universal life is the premiums remain stable, and that's why it can last your entire lifetime. During that time, the cash value continues to grow because you have a guaranteed return along with the death benefit, which becomes income tax free. It's all about policy design. So let's take an example of a routine whole life policy. And you can see here that the first year, this 20,000, it doesn't even take the first 3 years to get any money in because everything's going toward the death benefit, 20,000. This is where they get their big commissions. Now, infinite banking, bank on yourself, they've set it up so that maybe 40% goes to death benefit, but 60% goes to cash value. You see, the first year of the 20,000, you have 11,470 that you can take out, borrow from, and use to buy things or pay off debt or whatever. But what I'm recommending is to work with an agent that knows how to set it up so that 10% goes to cash value and 10% goes to death benefit and 90% goes to cash value. So the $20,000, really 17,000 in the first year is available for you to take out and use, and pay off debt, things like that. And you notice how fast the cash value grows. So the fifth year, you have put in 100,000 and you have over $100,000 because it starts early. So all the money you put in really is now working for you, and you have that death benefit. Compared to the 40-60, where it took 8 years, compared to the 100% toward death benefit, it took 11 years to get your cash value back. Another thing that's important to note is that if you look at the cash value at the end of 20 years, the one that is 1090 has over $661,000 that you have that you can keep and use, compared to the 40-60, which is basically around 30,000 less, and the other one is pretty much, say, $80,000 less, and the death benefit is significantly higher in the 1090. So this is the type of design that you want. You need an agent that does that, so that it looks like this. 87% goes right into cash value, available for you to use. 3% term policy to increase the limit of your cash value, and only 10% goes to pay death benefit. Now, the real great advantage of having this is the way you take the money out tax-free is through loans from the policy. So let's say in this case, a person has put in 250,000 and the cash value is now at 263. This person is going to borrow 200,000 from the policy, and he will pay the general fund of the insurance company 5% for that money. And as we look at this, as the person pays back 5% each year, at the end of 5 years, the loan is paid back, and they have paid $28,000 in interest. But at the same time, your cash value continues to grow. And if he had not even taken out a loan at year 10, you'd have 325,264, just like after you paid off the loan. So in reality, what's happened here is that you paid $28,975 in interest to the insurance company, but during the same time frame, because this is a continually increasing value, you have earned 62,000 in interest. Overall, you have borrowed money from the borrowed money, and you made $33,000 by borrowing it. This is isn't this fantastic? Anytime you need a loan, you don't have to lose money in interest. You actually gain money by using this policy. Very powerful. So the personal bank offers many advantages. Like I said, it's one of the safest investments where all growth is tax-free and guaranteed. And none of these banks we're talking about has failed even through the Great Depression. It has a guaranteed 4+% tax deferred return. You never have to worry about what the stock market is doing, going up and down. Who cares? Once you're debt free, you never have to worry about this again. When you die, the death benefit goes 100% income tax free to your heirs. You have access to the cash value in the policy without penalties or restrictions. Instead of paying interest to the bank, you're really paying it to yourself and actually making money at the same time. You pay no income or capital gains taxes on policy loans and most withdrawals. You are guaranteed insurability for life. A lot of people have term policies that are 20 years. After 20 years, they have to be reinsured. This policy is once you have the policy, you are insured for life. Whether you have cancer or whatever, they can't take it away from you. You have unrestricted liquidity and control of the money. You can take it in and out anytime without any people saying you can't. And then we talked about the flexibility. It helps you pay off debts, invest, and make money at the same time. We showed you that. The interest and dividends are paid on all money in the cash value, even when it's borrowed money. It can replace long-term care. If you need long-term care instead of long-term care policy, there are some of the policies can be designed so that you have long-term care in the policy. There are no restrictions as you find in qualified retirement plans. You can have larger contributions. I mean, you're limited to how much you can put in 401k. Here, it's almost unlimited compared based on what you earn. You may, in many states, these assets are protected by creditors, judgments, and lawsuits. Investment growth is tax deferred, withdrawals are tax free, and inheritance income is income tax free. So remember, they always talk buy term insurance, invested insurance. The only problem is no one ever invests the difference. This is a great savings account that keeps you saving. For example, he has this 20-year term that provides $5,000 in death benefit. You're only paying about $1,000 while you're paying about $8,000 per year in this basic whole life policy. But after 20 years, you've paid almost $20,000, and your premiums have been almost $160,000, which is a lot, it seems like. But you have $179,000 in cash value. You really just paid yourself back. For all this insurance you have, you made money having this policy. Compared to term insurance, at the end of 20 years, you have nothing in cash value. And at age 65, or let's say at the end of the 20 years on this 45-year-old person, you have a death benefit of $537,000 compared to $500,000. But the next year, after your term policy ends, you have no life insurance. And the death benefit the next year in whole life continues to grow. And you have the same death benefit. And from then on, it just continues to grow and grow and grow. And even though you're not putting money into this policy, and also comparing to a 401k, both have tax deferred growth, but with the personal bank, it requires no luck or skill, no stock market risk. No complicated emotional investment decisions. You just put it in. There's no mandatory withdrawal. Yet you have tax-free benefits, which you do not have, death benefits, which you do not have with a 401k. There is no penalty to take out the money, and there is guaranteed growth in principal, which is not true with a 401k or IRA. So here's an example of a dentist, 40-year-old, who has put in 100,000 for 25 years, because once you're debt free, I mean, and you're making 4, 5, 600,000 a year, you can afford $100,000 each year to put in your policy. And you notice that at the end of 25 years, you've put in 2.5 million, but the cash value is worth 4.4 million dollars. And the death benefit is over $8 million for your family if something happens to you. Even the other years ahead, even after year 5, you may have 100,000 in cash value, but you have almost 4 million in death benefits to take care of your family. So it's pretty interesting. Now, if you had, let's say, $200,000 you could put in each year, and you don't have to put in for 25, you can put in for 10, but why not put money away in a safe environment that continues to grow tax deferred? So where do you find the money? Well, actually, we talked about this earlier in the program. You make more. Just one more crown a day will give you that extra $160,000. Uh, you pay off your debt payments, and once they're paid off, you have all this excess money. You reduce your contributions to your 401k, and actually, I probably would not even have a 401k until debt free. And you cash out all your non-tax deferred investments. Some people have money in stocks that they're playing with and watching it go up and down. And as we talked about before, we don't know when the market's going to drop. We've been in a long-term bull. If personally myself, I'm in cash right now. Move your savings into your own personal bank if you have extra savings. Um, don't worry about trying to get a tax refund at the beginning of the next year. Just go ahead and pay as much as you need, but don't try to get a refund. And sometimes you can convert an existing policy, like a universal life policy, where the premiums keep going up every year and they become unsustainable. And there is a difference between, universal life and whole life policy. Both of these are cash values that grow tax deferred. You can access the cash value tax free, and both policies have some sort of guarantee. But your whole life policy offers a consistent premium that does not go up and guaranteeing cash value accumulation. Universal life has premiums for the cost of insurance that continue to grow exponentially. And there's a surrender fees, uncertain returns of your money can read in the market, and 80% of these policies really actually lapse due to these ever increasing premiums. Here's an example of one of my policies I traded in, and I bought in year 2000 and stopped paying on in around 2010. But the market was a $525,000 benefit. But as you see here, accumulation, even though I paid $123,000, it still grew like a good cash value policy. But then at age 74, the policy would increase $11,000. Basically, would cost me to pay the premium next year. The next year, $15,000. Next year, $20,000. I'd have to pay to keep the policy active, or $25,000. If I did not, over the next 7 years, it would decrease to a point where I would just lose my life insurance and all the cash value that's in there. So that's why I basically took this policy and transferred over into an exchange, a 1035 exchange, through a guardian policy, which once I've set the premiums and I decided to pay basically over a 7-year period and having a basically 2.4 $2,400,000 death benefit. Much better than the 525 I had before. But look at all this cash value that sits there This is all money I can use. I can start taking out money each year if I want for my retirement through loans and not pay any taxes on it. And you can see between year 4 and 5, it's actually caught up with the money I've put into it. This is a picture of my son-in-law and daughter, and I created a $40,000 policy for them, which I'm funding. And basically, you can see at year 4, it has caught up. It's a great way to, if you have excess money and you want to be able to pass it along to your children. So the policy is actually owned by my daughter on her husband, and she has complete control of all the money in the policy. And at age 65, when they're 65, you'll have 1. Almost 1.9 million and 3.5 million in death benefit. Here's another example of one of my grandchildren. At age 3, I put in $10,000, and after a period of time, the parents can take over this, or if you have your children, you can set it up in such a way where that after 5 years, at age 7, you've caught up with your 50,000 you have been put into it. And when your child is age 16, then you have $184,000 that he can borrow from, and you own the policy and you own the cash value, but the death benefit is on him and or her, and you have 184,000, and he can borrow money to get a car and pay you back, pay the policy back, and then instead of doing a 529 plan, you have over $200,000 that you borrow from the policy, or you can borrow from the policy to go to college. And it pays back, and this money just keeps growing and growing exponentially. And at age 24, or 26, when he gets married and wants to, put money down for house, pay for a house, he may be able to pay for the whole house and then pay it back at his own bank while making money at the same time. And you can transfer the policy to the child at any time when you feel they understand how to use this policy. At age 65, you'll have 3.3 million in cash value and a death benefit of almost $6 million. Just a great way to pass on legacy to your children and your grandchildren. So if you're really interested in learning more about the personal bank, I've worked with Steve Parisi. He is probably the best agent out that I've found that has designed the policy where you can have a 10% toward premium, 90% toward cash value. Go to personalbankforyou.com and you will be able to get a hold of the information about there and watch some videos. But I think it's a good idea that you research this out yourself so you really truly understand and talk to Steve about the policy. So these are some ideas, and this I feel is the safest place to put money, so much better than all the things we've been taught in the past. Wish you luck. And we're going to move on to basically finding peace, health, and happiness. Thank you.